I was going through my old journals and I was so surprised to see a stark difference in a personality trait of mine. Back then, I was so quick to accept things for what it is, to accept reality for what it is, compared to now. And it reflects in my writings. As I was reading it, I was able to see anything that happened. My mindset was more like, I need to accept this. This is how it is. This is what life is. And I need to move on. And I guess this is something that we all go through, which is as we get older, it becomes difficult for us to accept reality for what it is, to accept every little change that happens and every little difficulty that comes our way. And I believe it's also a certain way in which our society has formed, wherein we look for a settled life. And settled life basically means that we know how our life is going to look for the rest of the years, right? We want to know, this is my life, this is my routine, I'll wake up and I go to this work, this is my reality. So we try to predict our life too. We try to keep our life in a certain circle. But as I was reading my journals from 2020 and 2025, I was able to see that this attitude, like the shift in this attitude, and how my life is way worse now. Like in terms of external things, my life is better compared to 2020, because in 2020 I didn't have anything, but I was way more happier and more peaceful. But now, compared to like 5 years ago, I have more things. Like I have more money, I have more recognition, and I've achieved more things from my list. But I'm not happier, I'm not more peaceful. And I believe this attitude, this change in attitude had made my life worse. And this is something that I've been working on for the last few months. Let's work on this together. Before we get into the video, if you would like to work with me one-on-one, or if you would like to join any of my monthly group coaching sessions, click the link in the description. So basically what I've been doing is, instead of accepting life, instead of accepting reality for what it is, I've been intellectualizing my life. I've been trying to understand and make sense of life instead of experiencing it. And the first sign, and a huge sign I noticed, is the question, why? Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Why did this happen? Why did that happen? Why did they say this? Why did I do this thing? So the question why keeps repeating in my head. And I've been trying to make sense of every little thing happening in my life and every little emotion I've been feeling. And I believe a lot of us do this, where we try to intellectualize our life instead of living it, instead of experiencing it. We try to explain, we try to measure, we try to analyze, we try to understand and make sense of life. But life is not meant to be understood. Life is meant to be lived, to be experienced. And because I'm also a coach and I coach people, this is a trait that actually helps me, like trying to intellectualize and looking at things from a third person perspective really helps in helping other people, to coach other people and to come up with great suggestions for others. That's why my coaching practice is going really good, because this attitude of looking at things from a different perspective, because for the client it's an experience, for me it's more like tuning in and understanding what's happening and then giving them suggestions. So in my coaching practice, I guess this muscle of mine, this understanding, analyzing muscle of mine had become really stronger, that I've been starting to do that in my own life. Knowingly or unknowingly, we fall into this loop of trying to understand things like why. And we believe that if we understand why something is happening, then it will hurt less. And by doing this, by intellectualizing our reality, we are trying to escape our difficult feelings. We are trying to gain a sense of control over reality, because reality is completely out of control. The things that happen to us is not in our hands. But we try to gain a sense of false control. We try to escape feelings. We try to make sense of it. We try to approach it like a puzzle, because we think if we can solve that puzzle, somehow my feelings will be fine. I will feel better and I will be more happier and peaceful. But in reality, nothing changes. It actually makes a situation worse. So here's what actually happens when we start intellectualizing our life. First is we stay stuck. We think that understanding a difficult situation or understanding a difficult emotion will help us solve the situation. And when I say difficult situation, I mean situations that are out of our control. Because if something is in our control, then we can definitely jump in and we can change the things. But if they're not in our control, usually we obsess over things that are not in our control. So when something is not in our control, we think that if we understand it, if we understand that gut-wrenching feeling that we have, that sense of emptiness that we have, somehow we can solve that problem. But in reality, nothing happens. And this attitude is exactly why a lot of us end up in a situation where we'll be like, I know why this is happening, I know why I'm acting this way, I know why these kind of external situations are happening, but I still feel sad. This is why, you see a lot of people saying that I know my problem comes from my parents, I know my problem comes from my childhood trauma, but I'm still acting this way. This is exactly why we end up in a situation like this, because instead of feeling the emotions, instead of experiencing life and moving on, we try to intellectualize it, we try to understand it, and trying to do that, trying to intellectualize things actually makes us stay stuck in that particular situation instead of moving forward. So now we are not experiencing life, we're not moving forward, rather staying stuck in one particular situation. Like it could be a childhood trauma, you're still stuck in your childhood trauma. You're still stuck in that one relationship where your partner cheated on you. You're still stuck in that one friendship where someone betrayed on you. You're still stuck in that one office, workplace scenario where people insulted you. Number 2 is we talk about emotions instead of being in them. Like we don't feel our emotions, rather we tend to intellectualize them, try to measure them, analyze them, and understand them. Understanding why we feel certain things is useful in certain areas, which I will come to it later, but trying to just understand the emotion instead of accepting it or feeling it in your body can sometimes create emotional numbness. Like intellectualizing our emotions is not going to solve our problems, but we think that it will. And this will create emotional numbness because our emotions are not going out, rather they're staying inside suppressed. And the more numb we feel, the emptier we feel inside. Number 3 is it delays healing. You see, healing from a situation is all about accepting what happened to us, whatever experience, be it good or bad, whatever happened to us, we accept it, we learn our lessons, and then we evolve as human beings. So basically, healing is about learning to adapt to life situations, learning to change, and learning to become a different person, a different version of us. But trying to intellectualize a particular situation, trying to understand and just be in that particular situation keeps us stuck, and we never really evolve as people. We never really come out of difficult situations. So this is why a lot of people stay stuck in that one particular traumatic incident that happened to them. Number 4, you cannot build a better relationship with others and yourself. You see, human connections, be it with others or yourself, it needs vulnerability, and vulnerability needs emotions. But people who are not in touch with their emotions, rather they try to intellectualize everything, it becomes really difficult for you to build connections with other people, because you're not acting from a place of emotional intimacy, rather from a place of pure understanding and just your logical side of it, and you consider feelings as naive, and it makes it really difficult for you to have relationships with people. Number 5, you try to solve every situation instead of experiencing life. Like, see, life is all about having experiences. Life is about living those experiences, be it good or bad. But when we try to look at life from a very intellectual perspective, trying to intellectualize everything, we look at everything as a problem to solve instead of taking it as an experience to be experienced. You're not really letting life happen to you, rather you're taking everything as an experiment, analyzing, measuring. And when you start doing this, life will start to feel very flat and repetitive, like life has no excitement. And number 6 is it increases your anxiety, because you're not feeling your emotions and they don't go out, they stay stuck in your body. The more emotions that get suppressed and stay stuck in your body, the more it increases your chances of having panic attacks, it increases your chances of having anxiety attacks, and your general anxiety level, it starts to increase. Like, for example, if you wake up in the morning, the moment you open your eyes, you start to feel like a very strange sensation in your body, like some nervousness, some bad feeling in your stomach. And a lot of people, when they experience this, they think something is so wrong. They start consuming alcohol or start using any kind of like bad substances to numb it. But this is one of the reasons, when you're not in touch with your emotions, when you're not really feeling things, it gets stuck inside your body and it increases your anxiety, chances of panic attack, which will also lead you to take all of these, look for these wrong substances. So now that we know what happens when we intellectualize things, here are some things that we can actually do to improve the quality of our life and to start accepting life for what it is and to experience life to the fullest. These are the things that I have been doing in the past few months as well, and I recommend you do too. Number one is to try and understand that emotions does not happen in your mind. Emotion happens in your body. Emotions are not meant to be solved in your head. You cannot solve your emotions through your thoughts. When was the last time you had a problem and you thought about that problem and you somehow solved that problem inside your head? No way, right? When you're feeling an emotion, you don't feel it here, you feel it in your body. That is one lesson that all of us need to learn and understand, that anytime we feel something, we don't feel it here. So trying to get inside your head and trying to do something with your head is not going to work at all. You feel it in your body. And what do you do when you feel something in your body? You're supposed to release it from your body. And in order for you to do that, you have to start moving. That's the only thing that you can do with your body. Whatever you can do with your body, like walking, dancing, going for a swim, or simply going for a walk, anything, start moving your body. That is one of the biggest lessons that I've learned. Anytime you feel really bad, you feel empty, you feel sad, you feel angry, any emotion, any uncomfortable emotion that you feel, start moving your body. Now, I know you might be thinking that if I don't think about my emotions, how will I know why I'm feeling that way? Like, what is causing that? What is the trigger? And how I can, improve that in the future? Now, see, there are two aspects to when we feel something. One is when you sense a trigger, like when you're getting triggered or something external happens and you feel an emotion, that's one aspect to you. And then you try to understand that why you feel that emotion, like what caused it and where is it coming from and how I can change it. So one aspect to it is the emotions you feel in your body, and another aspect to it is what action you need to take. Now, both goes hand in hand. Now, thinking about that problem is not going to make that emotion go away, and not changing your actions will continue to make you feel the same way when you face that trigger again. Okay, I'll give you a simple example. Imagine that you have a problem giving a presentation at your office. So the moment you go and stand in front of a few people, you start feeling nervous. Okay, now that nervousness is what you feel in your body. And at the same time, there is an associated action that comes with it, like an associated action that your mind asks you to do, which is, maybe I should not present this anymore. So you try to kind of not do it, or it starts telling you that you're not good at it, so maybe next time I shouldn't do it. So there are two things. One is how you feel, and one is the action associated with it. Now, the next time when you're going there, the nervousness, you will continue to feel it. The only way to deal with that nervousness is to just be with it, feel it, and not try to resist it. Along with that, you'll also have to work on the action. So what is the action that your mind was telling you to do, which was that you should not give a presentation going forward? But for that, you'll be doing certain other tips or practices, like preparing very well, opting to do a very small presentation in the beginning, or having an intro line that would put you in a very confident state. So there are two things that will have to happen. If you want to do that thing, if you want to go ahead and achieve the things that you want to achieve, you need to take those respective actions. Okay, that comes on the action part. In the meantime, whatever emotion you're feeling, that emotion will have to be felt in the body. So we cannot make this emotion go away by thinking about it, or by complaining about it, or by overthinking about it, or by suppressing it, right? The only way to deal with your emotion is to just let it be. That's why I said, if you go to a presentation, you will continue to feel nervous. Even if I'm talking to you in front of a camera, I continue to feel nervous when I start, but I just have to just accept it, and then I have to continue with my video. And if I have trouble with shooting my video, then I will have other tips and tricks that helps me, which I will be following during my shoots. So to summarize, there are two aspects to it: emotion and action. In order for you to do that action, if you think you have to do that action and you have to improve your life by taking better actions there, that will have to happen. But in the meantime, any emotion you feel, you will have to feel it, accept it, feel it in your body, and move it to release it. That is a non-negotiable. That's the only way you can let an emotion pass. And emotions
are meant to flow through us. Okay, they have no intentions to stay. But when we start putting a story towards it, and we start believing that story, we start believing that that's who we are, and we start to go into a self-pity zone, that's when we make that emotion stay. Like the moment you hold on to an emotion by crafting a story around it, it will stay with you. So when you accept that emotion and you just let it pass through you, it comes and goes, and the action you have to take, you can start doing that on the other side. Number two is to accept the life situations for what it is, instead of trying to resist them, or instead of trying to intellectualize them in our head. And we have this personal preference in our head that life should be this way, it shouldn't be this way. So if you want to know what your personal preferences are, just write down the statements that comes with I like so and so, I don't like so and so, this is how it should be, this is how it shouldn't be. So these kind of rules that you have in our head, likes, dislikes, should, shouldn't, must not, these are the rules that you have created inside your head. And anytime life does not go in a way that you created in your head, you start to resist it instead of accepting it. But when we start accepting life, we start to experience life. When we start resisting life, then life becomes emptier, it becomes shallow, flat, and repetitive. Number three, which is something that I have learned, which was kind of hard for me to do as well, is to not add stories to the things that are happening to us. Like it could be someone making a joke about you, or it could be someone not giving you the things that you wanted, not giving you the things that you expected from them. And what we tend to do is we tend to add a story behind it. We tend to go into the zone of, oh, maybe it's because I am this and this, that's why this is not happening. Maybe because I am so bad and I am not worthy of it, that's why this person is not giving me this. So these are the stories that we add to other people's actions. But the reality behind other people's actions and the reality behind why things are happening in life, it's very different in perspective. Like it changes from people's perspective, and usually the story we have in our head is not the reality, it's just our perspective. And if our perspective has been flawed, if it comes from a wounded place, then the stories that we add will always come from a very self-pity, self-loathing kind of place. So instead of adding stories, you just accept things for what it is. So if someone is not giving you something, you just accept that, oh, they're not giving me, that's it. Instead of going into a loop of, oh, I don't have something, maybe I'm not worthy of it, that's why they're not giving it. But they didn't tell you that. That's not the truth. That's not the fact. So let's say sometimes even if someone says that you're not worthy, so I'm not giving you love, let's just take that scenario. You still have to accept it. Anything that happens, when you accept it for what it is, it becomes easier for you to kind of move on from that situation instead of going into a loop of self-blame and self-loathing. And number four, this is something that I started doing, and it has significantly helped the quality of my life, which is that anytime anything difficult happens, the first question that our mind will come up with is, why is this happening? Right? So what I've started doing is, anytime I catch myself going into this question of why, I immediately replace it with what. So my question goes, okay, this happened, what do I do now? So it immediately puts me in an action place. Instead of, so why is a question of thinking. So when you ask yourself the question why, you again go into this loop of thinking about that question. Why, what happened, going into the past, going into the future. But the moment you ask yourself what, this happened, what do I do now? What is the next step? What do I have to do? Now your mind goes into, whatever questions you ask, your mind will answer that. So the moment you ask a what question, your mind is going to give you an answer. So now that this person doesn't want me, what do I do? Now it gives you a better answer. Now that I don't have good friends, what do I do? Your mind gives you a better answer. So replace the why question with what question. And finally, I know a lot of us have a big misconception about acceptance. We all think that acceptance means agreeing to it or liking it or approving it. That's not true. So let's say you have a life situation that you don't like. Accepting that situation doesn't mean that you have to agree to it or you have to start liking it. Okay? And acceptance also doesn't mean that if you accept it, it's just going to stay with you forever. Tell me, when was the last time something stayed with you forever? Think of a good thing that you had in your life. Okay? Something that you did not resist, some good thing that you just happily accepted. Is it still there with you right now? No. So whether you accept it or not, things keep changing. So when we start resisting things, it becomes difficult for us to do life. When we start accepting it, it becomes easier. So instead of resisting things, start accepting things. And like I said, accepting is not about agreeing to it or liking it. It's just about acknowledging that this is what has happened and there's nothing I can do about it, and I'm going to just let it be. It's not that I'm going to engage with it, I'm going to like it, I'm going to wear it as a badge. It's just there. Think of it like a background element that is just there. Okay, so it's just there. You're not engaging with it, nothing. You acknowledge, you accept it, and you just go on with your life. When you start accepting things, you're no longer fighting it. You are not loving it, but at the same time, you're not hating it, you're not punishing it. It's just there. It's a very neutral part of your life. And when you start doing that, automatically the things that come into your life, when the role is over, it goes away and something else take up the place. So with that, I'm at the end of the video. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you guys in another video. Take care. Bye.